Hey guys, welcome back to another video. Today I'm going to be talking over my last race of 2020. 2020 has been a weird year for everyone. I hope you're all doing okay. Today I'm going to be talking about me sailing at Westby. It's probably one of the most shiftiest lakes I know, and it's one of the most difficult lakes I think it is to sail. So let's get right into this video. So I'm sailing at Westby Lake. This is a very difficult place to sail. It is extremely shifty and extremely gusty. The wind shifts like every 5 seconds, literally. So the weather is roughly 2 knots, gusting up to 11 knots, anywhere between that. At the moment it's roughly about 3 knots. At the moment I'm doing start prep, so finding out the ley line, how much I'm drifting in the wind. Don't need to do current, there's no current. Line bias, seeing where I want to start. Right there, even that tack, when I was tacking, the wind shifted. So it's roughly 30 seconds, so now I'm going to try and find my place in the start line. On like a club race, I normally just line up at 30 seconds. At a national, so I line up at like 2 minutes before go. So at a club race you don't really need to bother about the start line as much. But it's still important, especially here, because if you have a good start, you have a good race pretty much. So 15 seconds left, everyone's starting their trigger pull. I started my trigger pull, and then the wind suddenly dropped and shifted, which was not great, so I had to do another small trigger pull. So I put on my kicker. I probably have a little bit too much kicker, so just gust right there, using my main sheet and hiking out, keep my boat flat, and then all of a sudden drops, and then it shifts. See there, I'm using way too much rudder, but I'm trying to move into those headers and lulls as quickly as possible. But I am using too much rudder, that is slowing me down quite a bit. So if you see the standard, it's gonna go past me quite a bit, which is quite annoying. The higher your rig, pretty much, the more advantage you have, because they can go and sail closer to the trees, because their sail can reach over the trees. I'm in a radial, my rig can't really reach over the trees, so I had to sail further away from the trees. So I had to sail a bit further, which is annoying. So there is 9 lasers, I think. There's 8 standards and 1 radial. That's me, I'm in a radial. So you can see I'm using my shoulders to keep my boat flat, like I'm using my shoulders to go in and out. You see I saw a gust, so I got prepared to jump out off my boat and let a bit of my main sheet out. See the gap between my knees and deck is only about 1 inch, which is really good. The smaller the gap in between your knees and the deck, the better. So another lull there, so I tacked on it. And then I got another lull, so it messed up my mark rounding, annoyingly. But I took off my downhaul and then my kicker. I didn't take any more outhaul off, because I already had my outhaul quite loose. Lifted up my dagger board a little bit up to my compass height, which is about anywhere between 6 to 10 inches. So right here I'm sitting as far up as my boat as I possibly can to get the back of the boat out of the water. The less drag I have in the water, the better. So there the wind shifted again. I put my hand on the boom to pull my sail in because I only thought that shift would last like 2 seconds. I thought it would shift back around, which it didn't, so I had to quickly grab it from the block and main sheet all the way in, which lost me about 3 boat lengths. Yeah, so at this lake, or any lake, you have to keep your head out of the boat. Anywhere you sail, pretty much, you have to keep your head out of the boat, keep focus, and look for all those shifts and gusts. So there you go, got a bit of pressure, which I saw because 3 other lasers in front of me got it, so I saw them get it. Evan, I knew it was coming to me, so I got prepared for that. So you can see I use my shoulders quite a bit to keep my boat flat. And when I see a big gust, I hike out properly. So I put on my downhaul to get rid of the creases in the sail, so that it doesn't interrupt my airflow in the sail. So here I'm getting prepared to mark rounds, so I'm putting all my controls on, which I did. And I chucked them on the other side because I'm going to attack straight away. You can see I stayed on that side for a couple of extra seconds, just to get that big hill. And I was too harsh in my boat, so I lost all the power out of my sail. And then the wind shifted as well, annoyingly, about 90 degrees. Right there I have a bit too much kicker on. I could deal with less kicker. Using too much rudder as well, way too much rudder. The more rudder you use, the slower you're going to go. Using it too much in my roll tacks as well. That's what I need to improve on, is my steering my boat with more of my body weight than my rudder. Need to focus on using less rudder. And I need to practice shift work as well. That's why I train here during the winter. It's a good place to practice your shift work. See, I let go of my rudder. That's completely fine in light winds. I do that a lot in light winds because I know my rudder won't take off. And also, when you flatten your boat, the water flow moves your rudder, not you forcing to move your rudder, so it won't slow you down at all. Decent mark rounding. I could have got my dagger board and all my controls set quicker, and I could have taken my kicker off more before I went around the mark. So as you can see, I sped up the footage because this took forever, this leg. But I was zigzagging to each bit of the pressure, because the pressure was coming down in patches on different sides, so I had to zigzag between each one to catch them. As you can see there, my outer haul is a little bit too loose. I can put it on a little bit. As you can see, I'm altering my controls a fair bit. I could alter them a little bit more. And you can see I'm like constantly pulling my main sheet in and out to find the best bit of pressure in my sail. And the reason I have my main sheet in my mouth is so I know I have like a good 2 meters of main sheet to let out if I needed to. I normally do that in strong winds. Now I get him set up for my next mark grinding. See how I put my feet on the deck to get more kicker? I do have a little bit too much kicker. I could let a bit of that kicker off. Almost missed a foot strap there. That would have been a terrible ending, may I say. See, I saw a gust and I jumped out as soon as I knew it was going to hit me. You see how I'm holding a good posture. My legs aren't bent. Like, the gap between my legs isn't too bad, it's quite good actually. A good smooth tack right there. I didn't roll it too much because there was quite a bit of pressure there, so I didn't need to roll it. Right there, I'm not using that much rudder, which is pretty good. It shouldn't come out of the inner cockpit, your rudder, really. It's textbook setting, your rudder shouldn't. And then I lifted up my daggerboard there because there was a log by the island, which I didn't want to hit. Taking all my controls off for the next mark rounding, which should be downwind if the wind doesn't shift. So I set up for my downwind. And then I grabbed the main sheet from the back to jibe. I did over-roll it just a little bit. I prefer jibing from the back main sheet and light winds. When it's strong winds, I don't do that. If it's above 20 knots, I don't do it from the back. Under 20 knots, I do it from the back. Over 20, I don't. So right there, you can see I'm not zigging as much. I zigzag towards the end to get pressure, but I was mostly sending by the lee, which gave me a good advantage. Then I prepared to get around that mark, so I jibe first. I'll see how I put my daggerboard down before I jibe, just in case there was a gust. And I put in my main sheet. I should have put on a bit of kicker there, that was my mistake. It's a simple little mistake. Because the traveller block riz up in the traveller to like the middle, which is not good. My outhaul setting looks good this time, it's not too loose. I lifted up my daggerboard a little bit because there was a little bit of weed in there, which was slowing me down. Put my downhaul on just a little bit to get rid of those creases. See how I'm moving my bum in and out of my boat to keep my boat flat. So I do my shoulders first, and if I can't keep my boat flat by putting my shoulders out all the way, then I use my bum and I shimmy my bum out, and then if I can't keep my boat flat, then I properly hike out. It's like, you start from the top of your body, then you work down from hiking. Still too much rudder, but my roll tacks are decent. The endings are. I didn't over flatten that one or anything. See how that standard behind me is getting a big header. That's what I mean, this lake is very unpredictable, so they're getting headers, I'm getting a lull. We're sailing in two different bits of wind. So this is why you need to keep your head out quite a bit at this lake. Go around the mark, do my settings, zigzagging downwind, the wind dropped and shifted halfway through, and then a laser standard caught up. So what I did, I headed this laser up to windward. I know it's a bit mean of me, but you he was stilling on my wind, so what I wanted to do was him to duck me. So if I pushed him up enough, I knew he would quit and duck me, which he eventually did do right there. So then I could cover him if he tries to overtake me, so I had an advantage there, which did work. So now I'm zigzagging to each bit of pressure I could see. I should have worn polarized glasses because you can see the shifts on the water and the pressure in the water with polarized glasses more. But I was just looking at the boats behind me because I didn't have any of these. See how I'm steering my boat with my body pressure? Like you can see I'm putting my knee on the other side when I want my boat to head up. So like right now I'm putting my knee in the foredeck, hitting my boat to lowered. I could heal it a little bit more. Still using a little bit too much rudder. There wasn't enough wind in my sail to really push me around, so I kind of had to force the rudder a little bit, which slowed me down. As you can see I beat with a laser standard because I covered him across the start finish line. So now we're on the second lap. See, my kicker there is pretty good. It's not too tight, not too loose. And my main sheet's about a foot away, so it's not depowering my sail or anything. Got the main sheet in my mouth to make sure I had a good meter of main sheet to let out. Right here, now on the next mark, had a double tack as the wind shifted annoyingly. As soon as I got to the mark, let off my settings. I knew the wind was going to shift back in front of me. I didn't know how long it would be, but I knew it was going to happen in like the least next 20 seconds, so I left my dag board down for it. If it happens once, it's going to happen twice. See, I was right about it shifting about 90 degrees. So in the second lap I eventually warmed up because it was very chilly. Then on the second lap I got more focused as well. It normally takes me about 20 minutes to properly warm up. So that's why my first lap or first race is not my best. That's why during the day you normally see me improve. Move my bum out of my boat a little bit as well to keep my boat flat. Altering my controls. See how I put my feet on the deck to get a lot of kicker on? That is a little bit too much kicker for this weather, not gonna lie. It's kind of a habit. I threw my controls on the other side of my boat as well, so I don't need to reach over and grab them. Decent roll tack. My outhaul is way too loose. I need to keep an eye on my outhaul settings next time I go sailing. Finally took off my kicker a little bit. Pressure picked up a little bit, and then it dropped off. See there, got a header and the wind dropped, so my bum dragged in the water, which slowed me down quite a bit. So right here, getting ready to round the mark, took off my downhaul, took off my kicker, left my outhaul because I knew my outhaul was loose enough. The wind shifted slightly, so I had my fingers crossed. Hopefully I could heal the boat on top of me and still carry momentum to get across it. Decent mark grounding, not too bad. Alter my kicker again to the suitable downwind setting, and now I'm S-ing again to catch all that pressure. So yeah, and just keep moving my main sheet in and out to find the best pressure in my sail. I do that quite a bit on this leg because the wind is shifting and getting different pressures all the time. Right there I just lost a little bit of concentration because it's light winds. Light winds are the most difficult weather to sail in because you need to keep focused. Strong winds, everyone can keep focused because it keeps you awake. Right there, my boat is heeled on top of me a little bit too much. It's a little bit my fault. And then I realised and I shifted my bum in my boat a little bit. And then the wind came back. You can see the gap between my knees and the deck is like an inch. So my hiking is really good at the moment. That's what I've been improving recently, is my hiking. I'll do a video on how I improve my hiking. I'll do that as my next video probably. So watch out for that one. So there I did a useless tack. I tacked it and then I got a lull as I tacked, so I wasted about 5 boat lengths because then I had a tack back on. So right there, lifted up my dashboard again to miss that log. Now I'm getting my controls ready for the downwind, so I took off my downhaul completely. And then I left my outhaul because my outhaul was quite loose. And then I took off my kicker, or bang, whatever you like to call it. And when I bared around that mark, I could have put my body weight out of my boat a little bit more to use less rudder and steer with my body weight a bit more. But that's what I'm practicing on at the moment, so that should be improving. Doing my zigzaggy pattern downwind, capture that pressure. Especially in strong winds, you want to zigzag to catch those waves. But in strong winds and light winds, you do them slightly different, because in light winds you want to catch the pressure, in strong winds you want to catch the waves. See right there, I put on kicker this time before I did that mark running. And you see my block stayed in the corner of my traveller, which is much more better than the last time I went around that mark, because this lap I was much more concentrated. Got a little bit of a lull there. Oh, we got a massive lull there, so I tacked off. And then it gave me another lull after I tacked, so I tacked again and got a header. See there, I used my shoulders first to keep my boat flat, and then I put my arse out of my boat, and then I properly hiked. So now I'm close to the mark, so I'm about to get ready for it. Should be altering my controls, took off a lot of kicker, left my outhaul the same because that's still quite loose. so I took off my down haul set from it was cool, so I always pull on a grey line, which is the other side of my down haul, to help it get looser. So then the wind shifted another 100 degrees and then shifted back. So you have the 4 lasers in front of me, which I'm trying to beat. I think I came 3rd overall on the handicap, but I came 5th without handicap. So here I'm zigzagging, using my body weight steer and using the top block. You can see I use less rudder at the end of my body weight as well, so I'm thinking more. And when I use the top block to sheet in from, because it's less friction, you can see there as well my rudder didn't exit my cockpit, so that means I wasn't using that much rudder, which was pretty good. Hey guys, thank you for watching that video all the way through. If you made it to the end, thank you very much for watching it. It was a very long video, I'm sorry for that. But if you liked it, don't forget to give it a big thumbs up and subscribe. If you want to see more videos like this, don't forget to hit the notification bell. Share this video to your friends and family to help me out, and keep safe, keep sailing. See you out on the water. Until next time, peace, bye.